Hey everyone, I'm Nicole,
And I'm Gabrielle.
and we are the hosts of the Spiritual Sisters podcast.
Join us every week as we discuss all the spiritual topics like astrology, mediumship, psychic insights, and so much more.
We are often joined by others we have met along our spiritual journey who are well versed in many of these areas.
Get ready for enlightening discussions and interviews and personal experiences that we hope will expand your mind and get you thinking outside of the box.
Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just beginning your spiritual journey, there's something here for everyone.
Check us out every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts. See you then.
Bye!
Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Soul Ecosystem Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Rising, and on this podcast, we discuss all things soul contracts. I'm a soul contract reader, and I work with a modality that combines Jewish mysticism, astrology, tarot, and numerology to calculate what you incarnated here to do. Now, I was debating between doing an episode on Off Campus to do the soul contract of the male lead from Off Campus, or to look into Ariana Grande's soul contract, because I've kind of been avoiding her soul contract, to be honest. For those of you that have followed along for a while, you guys know I've looked into hundreds of celebrity soul contracts, and I had a feeling that Ariana Grande's would be as problematic, if not more so, than Sydney Sweeney's. And now that I thought about that, I'm like, I should also look into J-Lo. I don't know if I've looked into J-Lo's. But as soon as I opened up her soul contract and looked at the first two numbers in it, I was sold. I'm like, I absolutely do need to show you guys what's happening in her contract and then show you Ethan Slater's. And maybe their soul contracts can spill the tea on what has been happening for them in this incarnation, that they felt the need to get together and have an affair. So without further ado, let me share my screen with you guys and show you what we are working with. So Ariana Grande was born June 26th, 1993. So the two primary numbers we see immediately are right here in her primary A number, number 8, and number 6. So whenever you have a 6 in your primary number, relationships are going to be very important to you throughout your incarnation. They're going to be the focal point. You are here to learn about relationships, and the number 8 is talking about justice. So what does that look like? We're going to do our test unlock to see the soul contract calculator in action, which is, by the way, on my website at thesoulecosystem.com. You can click on the soul contract calculator tab to go ahead and put the numbers from your date of birth and see your soul contract in action. When you purchase the full analysis, you can also download your soul contract or print it, save it as a PDF, which is very useful because these things get very, very long. So her two primary numbers are the number of justice and the number of relationships. So the first thing you read here, as soon as you see the justice, is you are deeply independent with rich inner depths of thought, feeling, and aspiration. You experience life more intensely than most. What does that sound like to you? Does that not sound like the whole entire promotion of Wicked 1 and Wicked 2, and how Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande had this very emotional, deep bond and connection, and they were just crying to each other all the time? That's immediately what popped into my head when I saw that. So I'm like, okay, this soul contract is just gonna absolutely not pick her apart, but like show who she is at her core. So relationships as her primary number is not surprising, considering how messy they have been in the past, including this very, very messy relationship with Ethan Slater. It's no surprise that one of her karmic lessons here is to learn self-love and learn how to unconditionally love others. Sorry, my cat is trying to get my pen. When we look at karmic debt, though, past life karmic debt, we have magic and manipulation. This is a very tough lesson when it comes to this kind of karmic debt. It's specifically for the people that have tried to manipulate a situation to go a certain way, either with the use of magic or the use of force, because they wanted a certain outcome. So, like this past life karmic debt says, there was strong external influence that could have been psychological, manipulative, energetic magic, or physical, like going to the authorities and like lying about somebody doing something in order to get them in jail, to get them out of your way so that you could like move in on your love interest, something like that. Because of this choice that they made, this manipulative choice, their life was irreversibly altered in a way that they couldn't expect or comprehend. So in this incarnation, they are very afraid of being controlled and manipulated by others. They're very wary of it, and it is because they know that they were doing that to others in a past life. So they have this subconscious memory and this fear that the same thing is going to be done to them. So they might be a little bit paranoid. They might be able to pick up on small manipulations and see how people are trying to get them to do certain things and then immediately like take it to the nth degree. This deep-seated fear can turn into an extreme distrust of others to the point of paranoia. I'm going to highlight that here for you guys. And in this way, they're trying to they're almost trying to be prepared for the manipulation or for the control tactics because they feel like it's not going to be as painful, it's not going to be as serious if they're prepared for it or if they see it coming. Now, she is also carrying the debt of the Hermit. So this actually talks about a karmic debt where you didn't use the knowledge or the gifts that were given to you in a past life, where you hermited it up, like concealed yourself because you were too afraid to take a chance, like follow your dreams, share what it was on your heart with other people out of fear of rejection or out of fear of failure. So the fact that this is showing up in her chart, I'm going to take a wild guess here and assume that this karmic debt for her has healed, given that in this incarnation, she hasn't done that. She hasn't hermited away and concealed her gift and her talent. Now let's go down to talents and spiritual gifts. We have several talents here. Love and relationships is about communication. World talent means they feel at home anywhere in the world. And then if you guys notice here, I also put in the celebrities that also have these talents in order to give you guys a sense of the energy of this talent, how it manifests in other people. We have the temptation talent, which is ironic, has the superpower of influence and insight. And then we go into her maternal lineage, the talents that she inherited from her maternal lineage, as well as her paternal lineage. So I seen one prosperity coming in from her mom and one prosperity coming in from her dad. It means that following your joy is going to bring you success. Then we go into destiny and purpose. I don't know if that's going to be pertinent to exactly what we're looking for here when it comes to her relationship with Ethan Slater. So I'm just going to scroll past this. We're going into the subconscious programs now. So for subconscious programs, we see the Millionaire program pop up first, which again, easily verifiable, right? That she has that she's been able to access that because she is probably a multimillionaire at this point. She has the Fairy World Writer-Director program, which means that she has a gift of writing. She'd be a great director. She has a very vivid imagination and could use that either professionally as a writer or a director or somebody that needs that kind of imagination to succeed. She also has the High Spiritual Unification mission, which is a very spiritual mission. It talks about uniting people towards a common cause, and anything that is getting people united, that is pushing towards unity instead of division, like the majority of the people in power are trying to do, is high vibrational. Then we have the binge program. Binge program is pretty self-explanatory. It manifests as having a hard time knowing when to stop. There's a lot of intensity there for them. There's a lot of impulsive decisions, overindulgence, addictive tendencies that she needs to be on the lookout for. Then we have spiritual and physical beauty. It can manifest as either or both sometimes, as seen in Shonda Rhimes. I absolutely love her. Justin Chambers, Kobe Bryant, Denzel Washington, and Jane Goodall. I feel like Jane Goodall is a really good example of having both spiritual and physical beauty, as well as Shonda Rhimes. Fear of expansion program. Then we have the guarded heart. The guarded heart is seen in Princess Diana's soul contract, John Lennon's, Babe Ruth's, Marie Curie's, Malala Yousafzai, I hope I'm saying that right, and Marie Antoinette. So these people are very, very guarded, especially when they're operating from the negative. It's because they've been hurt and they're afraid of being hurt again. You can see this manifesting in Princess Di's lifetime very easily because of what happened with her husband and having a side chick and everything. Then we see the prison program. Prison programs, I say all the time, isn't always an actual prison sentence, but can mean one, can lead to one. But most of the time, especially with this, prison program and lack of freedom almost go hand in hand. Lack of freedom is more so mental, much more mental than an actual prison sentence. Then we have the extremism program, which is very interesting. So that is similar to the binge program. Overindulgence. This is somebody that is really love bombing in relationships in the beginning. When they care about somebody, they genuinely want to support them, provide for them, like help them. They may spoil them in the beginning of their relationships, but in misalignment, this kind of almost gets into like this bipolar kind of relationship where they instantly get super cold, super distant with them. The challenge here with this program is that it tends to pull you towards extremes. So if you're really happy, you're really, really happy, like you're on cloud nine. But then if you get down, it's a really dark place that you get down into. All right, we see futility, excitement, risks, adrenaline. There's a lot of programs in here that are that lead me to believe that she has a tendency of taking risk where she doesn't need to. Inquisition has strong convictions, not easily influenced by the opinions of others. But the struggle here is that her strong beliefs can sometimes become rigid beliefs. Okay, hidden self. This means they're very private. I'm still looking for like a love affair program or a love triangle program. Sensitivity. This is interesting. Okay, sensitivity. Do you guys remember that video of Ariana Grande being like in a donut shop with a group of friends when she was like, I want to say she was a teenager, so I don't want you guys to take this like too seriously, but she was a teenager and like I think she licked one of the donuts and then put it back into the little display that they had there. This is giving me that vibe. Sensitivity When it's in alignment, it means that you're extremely empathetic. When it's not in alignment, it means that there's a lack of empathy happening. It means that you are so stuck in your own pain that you don't really think about others. You might say really insensitive things and play it off like, oh, it's all in good fun. Like, it's not that serious. Like, you're taking it too seriously. It's just a joke. That kind of vibe. And but it's almost like negging. It's almost like you're purposely putting other people down in order to feel better about yourself. So there's a danger of that for her. There's that coming up for her, which I expected specifically because I really remembered the part about the donut shop. Like, that really stuck with me. I was like, that's disgusting. I cannot even believe somebody would do that. Then we have the Pure Stream program, which is again a spiritual program. She has this mix. I wouldn't say like that it's perfectly balanced, but she has some spiritual programs sprinkled into her soul contract. Pure Stream being that this is a natural channel. This is a person that can channel things from the divine, especially useful when you are channeling things for your work, for your career, channeling music, channeling melodies, channeling songs, channeling artwork or books, novels, especially useful for that. We see Whitney Houston, Matthew Perry, John Lennon, Paul Walker, Katherine Heigl, Eddie Van Halen, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Ruby Bridges, and Jane Goodall have that program. It isn't a common one. It's not a common program. I feel like now I have to add Ariana Grande to the list. Then we see Sacred Sacrifice. I think Naya Rivera's was the first Sacred Sacrifice program I've seen. This is somebody that is deeply compassionate. And again, I feel like that's underlined in every single program in her soul contract, that she's really sensitive, really empathetic, really compassionate. But in misalignment, it's like if you wrong her, all of that goes out the window. Broken systems. Matthew Perry was the first soul contract I saw with this program, and I remember it very well because this means that you have an ability to find systems that aren't working, that are broken, and try to fix them, try to leave them a little bit better than you found them. Matthew Perry is a great example of that because he's been in and out, or he was in and out of rehab a lot. And he found flaws in that system, decided to open up his own rehab. I don't know if it's still open to this day, but this is a great example of what this kind of program can bring a soul to do in this incarnation. We have the intelligence program, as seen in Michael Jackson, Katherine Heigl, Kate Walsh, Frida Kahlo, and Catherine Zeta-Jones. I believe that Emma Watson also has this program. It just signifies a person that's brilliant, has a lot of academic knowledge, a lot of intelligence within them. I feel like Michael Jackson is the perfect example of that. I don't even need to go into that. Michael Jackson is an absolute genius. Then we have the driven child. I'm still not seeing a love triangle program, and I know I'm going to see one in here. Revenge, restless souls. Okay, restless souls in misalignment comes with unbearable depression. If something triggers it, that's a really tough one to have. So it's a really hot and cold soul contract, guys. Restoration, trap program. Ooh, signature mark. Okay, this is like a beauty mark. And this is definitely Ariana Grande. It means that the person is going to be born with very distinctive qualities in their face. Oftentimes it's of a beauty mark like Marilyn Monroe. And it means that people are going to remember you because you have a certain look about you. That's completely Ariana Grande in her high ponytails and her knee-high boots, completely. Then we see the freeze response. There it is. I told you guys. I told you guys. I told you. I told you. So what does this tell us? This tells us that the love affair the whole love triangle thing that they had was predestined. They were meant to go through it. They specifically chose to go through this relationship in order to learn something from it. The Wandering Flame, also known as the program that has the love affair happening in real time in this incarnation, is seen in Princess Diana, Richie Valens, Billy Crystal, and Catherine Zeta-Jones. So, do you guys remember that there was like this conspiracy that Princess Diana had an affair with, I think it was like one of her instructors, writing instructors or something, because Prince Harry looks so much like him? I was always wondering about that. I was wondering if that was true. And then I saw this in her soul contract. Excuse my cat, she's very nosy. I saw this in her soul contract and I'm like, oh my God, she may have had her own affair. She may have had her own affair. And at that point, I guess she was like, it's free game. If you're going to have somebody on the side, I'm going to have someone on the side too. But I thought that was very interesting. And this kind of leads us into Ethan Slater, his soul contract. I want to take a look at his now. Let me see if there's any other subconscious program, special mission, spiritual program. That's another spiritual program. People pleasing. Ariana Grande is very hot and cold. If she doesn't have, now I'm not a psychologist, like I'm not a therapist or anything, if she does, or a psychiatrist, if she doesn't have a bipolar diagnosis, I would be curious as to, okay, I'm gonna hop in here real quick and tell you guys what I just found out. I was editing the video, post-recording, came across me saying, I'm not sure if she has BPD, but if she doesn't, I'd be surprised. So I decided to look it up. I Googled, does Ariana Grande have bipolar disorder? And in the little AI box where it summarizes the answer, it said, yes, Ariana Grande has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She has openly discussed her experiences with the condition and how it affects her life. And the way I screamed for like 5 minutes, because it still throws me for a loop for some reason when these soul contracts get so accurate, where I was just like reading like the hot and cold and the heaviness and like the sensitivity and all of the emotions that she was experiencing. I was like, oh, this sounds a little bipolar. This sounds a little bipolar. And it turns out she has that diagnosis. So this is just a testament to soul contracts and how real they are. That was not an accident. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Why? The illusion of freedom, responsible for everyone, becoming visible, helping hands, sacred order, all or nothing, another very extreme program. Okay, another very extreme program. I feel like Ariana Grande in general is very emotional. I don't think that's a surprise. She has the golden gift. So, golden gift, anything you touch turns to gold. Anything you touch turns to gold. It's the Midas program. It doesn't come with a lot of negative. It's mostly like a gigantic gift of fate. Still going through breaking toxic cycles. I wonder if she had a super toxic relationship. I wonder if that was with Mac Miller. Because I remember she was like really brokenhearted about that after his passing, the sealed heart. Oh my gosh, there's so much pain in this soul contract. There's so many wounds. There's so many extremes, like very hot and cold behavior. Rescue. Okay. All right. This explains her relationship with Mac. Because rescue is a program where you try to save somebody, where you're trying to be the reason that somebody stays around, sticks around. I feel like that's just spot on that relationship. And I'm guessing that that was toxic to her. Then we have the fog. Okay. All right. So yeah. So we found that program for her in her soul contract, the Wandering Flame, that indicates of a possible affair in this incarnation. Let's take a look at Ethan Slater's soul contract and his subconscious programs to understand where he's coming from in all of this. I don't know if we also want to look into his ex-wife, because I mean, it's the three of them in this triangle, and three's a little bit of a crowd. So let's take a look. All right, so Ethan Slater was born June 2nd, 1992. I had no idea that he was so young. He's only a year older than Ariana Grande. So he was also born in June. He's a Gemini, and I think Ariana Grande is a Cancer. Wait, that explains a lot. I didn't even think of that. So he is a June Gemini, born on the 2nd, 1992. His two primary numbers are 2 and 6. Whew. Okay, when it comes to 2 being in the primary A number, I have beef with 2s, but that's because I feel like I'm very justice driven, and 2s really like to, I don't want to say play the field. It's not play the field. There's a different expression for this. They like to be Switzerland. They like to be neutral. They like everybody to get along. They would avoid conflict like the plague. They just want people to get along, and that turns into like people being very passive, 2s being very passive, 2s kind of looking the other way when something toxic happens, as long as like they're good, like they're in a neutral kind of relationship with the person that's doing that. So I don't love that already. And then he's also here to work on relationships. He's also here to work out his issues with relationships and with love. 2s, by the way, are incarnating here to learn that sometimes they need to take a stand. Sometimes they need to stand for something, because if you keep standing for nothing except just like being good on paper with somebody, then that's going to present issues. So being a peacemaker, liking to keep the peace is all fine and dandy when you know your boundaries, when you know when it's time to stand up for something. So that's his primary numbers. Ooh. Okay. Past life karmic debt. This is why I love this calculator, because now you guys get to see my reaction to these soul contracts in real time. This is my least favorite past life karmic debt because this is the most intentionally malicious one. So that tells us immediately tells us the worst that we could assume about SpongeBob, the voice of SpongeBob. Ethan Slater, in case you guys didn't know, he's the voice of SpongeBob, which is why I was so surprised that he's so young, because I felt like SpongeBob was around when I was like, what, a little kid? How old was he when he started? Anyway, aggressor. He has the past life karmic debt of the aggressor, and that's no bueno, for obvious reasons. This is primarily a very masculine past life, as it says right here. Very likely played a masculine role in a past life. Usually they incarnate into a position of power where they can abuse that power. And in this past life, the soul caused physical harm to others, was extremely aggressive, violent, or just had this obsession with being dominant. So, kid you not, this debt manifests in past lifetimes of jailers, executioners, criminals, not the best people, because of the amount of pain and torture sometimes that they've inflicted on other people. The universe decides to flip the tables on them and have them experience what it's like to be in that position, in the opposite position where they're the ones that are being hurt, they're ones that are being abused. And oftentimes, what's going to happen is that they'll also put you into, I don't want to say the body of a victim, but a body that is going to either be made fun of, that has some kind of limitations, or in Ethan Slater's um, example, he's in a much smaller build, I feel like, than he was in a previous life. Oftentimes, in this incarnation, this past life karmic debt will make sure that your body isn't as healthy as it can in order to limit the amount of people that you can hurt, in an effort to teach you how to stop hurting other people. Because now you have to experience what it's like when other people hurt you, and it doesn't feel so great. So it's like, maybe you're going to learn. Maybe you're going to stop being a jerk. But in Ethan Slater's case, I don't know about that. Talents and spiritual gifts. We're going to breeze through these real quick because what I want to get to is the subconscious programs. Because it took me a while to get to. Oh, hold on. We got to talk about this one. He has the star spiritual gift, which means that he has celebrity energy. He was destined to be a celebrity. He was destined to be a star. There's a lot of celebrities that have this spiritual gift in their soul contract. I have had clients that have this spiritual gift in their soul contract. So if it's not manifesting as you being in like the spotlight, center stage, it means that you are meant to work with celebrities, like celebrity energy. You're meant to be around that energy. So moving on, we have the paternal side coming in, destiny numbers coming in, energetic keys, subconscious programs, fairy world writer director programs, same as Ariana Grande, high spiritual unification mission, binge program. We're going to find those programs in people that were born in June in general because of that 6 influence there. Spiritual and physical beauty. I don't know. I'm gonna be quiet about that. Inside thoughts. Magical knowledge. Magical knowledge subconscious program means that at some point in your past lives, you had like availability to secret knowledge or magical knowledge that you may have abused. I'm not sure if there's anything there specifically for Ethan Slater to talk about. He also has fear of expansion, guarded heart. Lots of fears coming in, programming lack of freedom, coming in, excitement, risks, adrenaline, the hidden self, self-destruction. Okay, so he has self-destructive tendencies. Not shocking. He kind of had it all set up with his marriage. I believe he has kids from that marriage. Let me double check. Yep, he has a son. He has one kid that was born in 2022. We have permission to rest, sacred sacrifice, broken systems, intelligence, silence, the influencer. All right, let's see. Devaluation. Devaluation is a pretty positive program when it's in alignment because you're the type of person that knows what things are worth. Like you're the type of person that knows how to like stop and smell the roses, appreciate every moment of life that you have. In misalignment, it's somebody that is not really grateful for what they already have and always feels like it's not enough, which is on theme, I think, for Ethan Slater. We also have the divorce program in Ethan Slater's chart. Now, the majority of the times this manifests as a child of divorce. I'm not sure if Ethan Slater's parents got divorced, if Ethan Slater himself is a child of divorce, or if this is manifesting just as his divorce from his wife. but that's in there. The freeze response. Ariana Grande also had the freeze response. Here we go. Wandering Flame, as seen as in Princess Diana, Richie Valens, Billy Crystal, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Ariana Grande. So, yeah, now I want to look at his ex-wife's soul contract, but I don't think we're going to have time for that. Anyway, so this is the kind of example of affairs being predicted in soul contracts. When you take a look at people's contracts, it doesn't mean all of the time that an affair is bound to happen. Oftentimes, this manifests in childhood where they see either in their immediate circle, in their family, an affair happening, and they're like, okay, I should probably not do that because I'm seeing how it impacts everybody around them. Other times, it's manifesting real time, like in your incarnation, you're the type of person that needs to learn that communication is important. It is better to communicate with somebody and to leave the relationship if it's not serving you anymore, instead of kind of stringing people along and playing all of the sides. So that is Ethan Slater's soul contract and Ariana Grande's soul contract. And if you guys notice the subconscious programs that Ethan Slater has versus the ones that Ariana Grande has, a lot of them, there's a couple of them that are the same. I'd say like half of them are the same, but his is very different. Lessons in attachment. His is not as polarizing as Ariana Grande's. It doesn't feel so black and white, up and down. Choosing yourself. Ooh. That kind of touches a little bit on the Wandering Flame program, because Princess Diana also has it. And I love this program. It's a very painful thing to go through, learning how to choose yourself, learning when enough is enough and you're tired of the disrespect and need to move on. I feel like Elizabeth Taylor did that. Elizabeth Taylor like nailed that program, as did Princess Diana when she finally was like, I want a divorce, like I'm going to move on and have a healthy life. So all or nothing, that's a little polarizing. That's a little bit extreme. The Visionary and the Gift of Wit. So that's what we have for Ethan Slater, Breaking Toxic Cycles, and Ariana Grande. They're very, very similar. They have very similar lessons to go through, which explains why they were brought together in this incarnation. And I think it's because that of all of the wounds they have, because their pain is so similar, I don't know that they would be able to help each other out of it, which is probably why they broke up, because it seems like they both struggle with toxic cycles and extremes and wanting to rescue people. We have the rescue program here too. Fog. All right, and then we go into inner child wounds. That's what I have for you guys when it comes to Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater and their soul contracts. If you guys wanted to purchase your own downloadable soul contract analysis like this, it's going to look exactly like this, except with your personal dates of birth and the numerology found in it. You can go to my website at thesoulecosystem.com and click on the soul contract calculator tab, where you can put in your date of birth and choose to either buy the full soul contract analysis or to buy it in parts based on what you are most curious about. Maybe you guys would really love to see your subconscious programs and what's manifesting there. You're going to be able to buy just the subconscious programs or just the past life karmic debt. I feel like if you're trying to get to know a person, passive karmic debt is going to say a lot about the rest of his soul contract or her soul contract, and whether it's operating in alignment or misalignment. That's usually my go to. Like whenever I see a past life karmic debt of an aggressor, I know that this person was not a very spiritual, not operating in alignment type of person in a past life. So if you wanted to buy it in parts, you can do that, or buy the full soul contract and download it, because that way it's downloadable. Download it and see what your soul contract says about you and what you incarnated here to do. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next Friday. Have a wonderful weekend.